Hey everybody, welcome to the Baby Lock Ovation Serger Manual. Today I want to talk about some troubleshooting. I got a question from a subscriber about fabric that's tunneling under the looper threads, and I just want to show you up close here what we're talking about. I hope you can see in this sample that the fabric is not laying flat underneath the looper threads. And there's a few different ways that you can troubleshoot this because there's a few different causes. So what I want to do is just show you the different ways that you can fix this. And then I also have a second technique I'm going to show you. Sometimes when you're working with lightweight knits, like ITY knits, or a very lightweight woven, the fabric can have a hard time catching at the beginning of a seam at the edge of the fabric because the fabric is so lightweight, it's not stable enough to stay flat, and it gets pushed into the needle plate just like it could happen on your sewing machine. So what I want to do is let me get the serger over here so I can show you what's going on. Okay, I have my serger set up for a 3-thread wide stitch, and this is one of the biggest culprits for fabric not staying flat underneath the loopers because you've got a lot of space between the needle, the single needle, and the edge of the fabric. The first thing I'm going to try is reducing my cutting width a little bit to see if it fixes the tunneling. So let's try that. All right, so I think in this case you can see it may be slightly better, but the fabric is still bumped up under the looper thread. So the next thing you can try is loosening both looper threads a little bit. Now, what you want to check before you start doing that is you want to make sure that your stitch is balanced. So if the fabric is tunneling underneath the looper threads, but the loopers are meeting exactly on that cut edge, then the tension between the left and right loopers is correct, but you can see it's sort of squishing the fabric back, kind of like if you try to shove your foot into a shoe that's too small. So I'm going to just relax my tensions a half a setting. Let's try that. I'll try it on the other side of this piece. Okay, so for this fabric, that did nothing to fix it. It's still bumped up. Okay, so another thing that you can try is to change your differential feed. Remember, the front feed dogs and the back feed dogs go at the same rate of speed if you have your differential feed set at 1, which that's what it's set at right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slow down my front feed dogs by putting it on 0.7. Let's see what that does. And I'm also going to put my looper tensions back to normal, okay, because I just want to try one thing at a time. All right, so changing the differential feed, I think it may have helped a little bit. Let's combine that with putting our thread tensions down just a half, so from 4 to 3.5, and let's see what that does. So I have the front feed dogs going a little bit slower than the back feed dogs, and I've relaxed the tension a half of a setting. All right, so you can see here we have a winner. See how flat that is? And the other thing you're going to notice here is Because the fabric is laying flat, you're getting the full width of the 3-thread wide stitch. Starting out from our first samples, you can see that how much narrower that is because the fabric is scrunched up under the looper threads. So for this particular lightweight fabric, I needed to make my differential feed go, I needed to make my front feed dog go slower than the back feed dog to kind of taut sew for me. And I needed to relax my loopers just a little bit, not even a whole setting. So that's how you troubleshoot tunneling. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is if you're having trouble getting your fabric started under the presser foot, if you just use a little piece of pattern paper, tracing paper, it does not matter. And it really, I'm talking about a teeny little piece, okay? And what you do is you use it as a lead-in, okay? So I'm going to put the paper in front of the fabric and I'm going to start serging. And you'll notice what happens here is the paper leads the fabric in. And because it's between the feed dogs and the needle plate and the fabric can't suck into the needle plate when it gets started. So if you're having trouble getting your fabric started, try this trick with a little piece of paper. When you're done, all you have to do is pull the paper off. Whoops. And you can see it just makes a really nice start to a very lightweight fabric. Okay, so those are the two things I wanted to share with you today. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below and I will help you. I hope you're enjoying this Bernina L460 Serger Manual video series. I can't promise you how much longer it's going to continue because I do have to return this serger back to my friend who let me borrow it. So if you have specific questions, please post them now so I can add them to my list before this serger flies away back home to its lovely owner. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next week for another episode of the Bernina L460 Serger Manual.